Okay. Oh, there we go. Yay. You gonna do it now? Trying to delete the other video while I'm on it. Let's see.
All right, now I see you.
Okay, perfect.
So just you're kind of still trying to get in here.
Okay, yeah, no, it's all good. That while I try to figure this out. If I pop out the chat, that's not gonna do it. I want to add her. How do I do that? Let me. We'll just have this on the video. It'll be fine. Hello to those of you who are coming in to watch. We're just doing some. We're learning as we go. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send the link to the people that wanted it.
Yes. How to
add. Okay, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear on the video now.
Perfect. Live. Okay. I'm just looking this up real quick. Let's see. From YouTube, I connect, select. We'll just take feedback as we go. Screen somehow. I know there's some sort of way to do it, so.
Oh, so it's buffering.
Oh, it's saying it's buffering. That's weird.
Yeah, now you're good.
Okay. I was gonna say, are you seeing me okay on your end?
Okay, Autumn, can you hear me?
It might be a signal on her end on there too, but are you seeing smooth stream on your end, Trina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see you now. Yeah.
Also, you felt like you needed to run, like there was danger.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always felt something off with this person, and I couldn't understand why.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just about the.
I see it. Yeah. No.
Yeah. And then for some reason, it literally kept chasing after me. And in 2017 is when reality like really kicked in, because my psychic, like I'm gonna call her my healer actually.
Okay.
Because like
nice. Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's really similar.
Yeah, they are. Well, and I mean, even being psychic or being a healer, you can. I mean, there's so many things, and the twin flame journey is unique in that, like, it's. Like your twin is definitely going, especially on I mean I think on the runner end, there's so many things that happen on our end, and because you're being quiet and we don't know what's going on in your mind, it can seem very narcissistic, or it can seem like, I mean, those of us on the chaser end are very like, am I crazy? Am I just a masochist? Like, what am I doing over here, you know?
Yes. And I can relate to that too, because I was the chaser twin when I was in the false twin flame connection. That makes sense, because if you can't experience that, how can you explain to others what they're truly going through right now? Because there's a lot of people that are literally just starting this journey, and they're like, oh my goodness, like, am I going crazy? First off, people, I'm going to tell you this right now, my chaser twins, my twin flames, okay, you are not crazy.
Right,
okay? You are not
well,
crazy.
we are, but not that way.
You're awakening. They're awakening. Yeah.
You know, I'm actually curious, because you mentioned with your false flame that he was talking about like love at first sight stuff. Now, did he bring up the twin flame stuff at all? Because I know like my DM's karmic tried to like, she saw that I was getting into that, and then tried to like manufacture the connections in there, and like try to make
Because I will say this, your true twin flames will always have love for you no matter what. They will always love you. That connection
for like 10 to 11 years. We met during that, but like he was a chaser with her. He was very much a chaser with her, and I didn't know about twin flame stuff at this point in time, but I noticed that stuff was going on. And it's funny because after like I called for separation, and then this other karmic came in, so I know that like the first one was the false flame. Like he really felt like he thought that it was like total love and falling into it, and like she never chose him, like never ever these other things. And I'm like going, like, he didn't even understand it. I'm like, actually, I'm grateful for her. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you'll get it later.
Had another
now wait a minute, had you met her in person yet by that time? Okay, yeah, right.
For a year and 2 months.
okay, so now when did you officially meet your twin?
Okay.
Like what? Just a date for right now.
So I met my twin, so June 11th, go figure, June 11th of 2019 on a dating site.
Okay.
And the first thing that I actually noticed about her
was what they thought. And that was, I know you and I talked earlier when we were trying to do the feed about how it's like like culturally people say, no, don't do it. This person's wrong for you, or they're too young or too old, or their religion is too different. And like he had a lot of that. But for like, I know the way he explained it later was like, you were always on my mind. And I tried so hard not to think about you because I'm thinking I need to stay married. I got married, or I need to do this, or it can't be you. And I know that what's funny is during this separation, it's been a repeat of that stuff. And actually, what's funny is November of 2020 was when the separation kind of started. We were still kind of together, but I was like, look, in terms of like, because he was still running, and Karmik, he actually had proposed, and we were supposed to go further, but then Karmics came out of the woodworks, and it was like, okay, you know what, I can see that you want to choose me, but you're afraid, and you want to keep it a secret. You don't want to go out and be out loud about it. And what's funny is like, I'm thinking of like all the stuff that happened between like November 2019 to like November 2020, and like this last year even there was a lot of change. Get love that's doubtful.
Oh my God.
Right, you know.
Let me talk a little bit about the love aspect. So I had to date myself for over 3 years before I could even think of loving myself. I dated myself. I did not go.
Yeah, I just have to say, I love that you said that, because when my twin first got into the new karmic relationship, he was very much like, how come you're not out doing this? You were flirting with so and so, and I'm like, I'm dating myself right now. Like that's what I need to do. And we literally, the last time I saw him, I've been telling him the whole freaking year, I'm like, you've never been single.
All right. So, when I started to date myself for 3 years, I said to myself, I'm not going to codepend on anyone else. I rely on me. I can only make myself happy. There's not another person in the world that can make me happy. I need to make myself happy first.
Right.
So I started to go to the theaters alone. I watched movies. I went out to dinner. I had dinner myself. Like I literally did everything that you would do with another person, except I did it on my own. I bought my flowers. I bought myself candies. I bought myself.
I'm curious to ask. Did your twin flame? Your chaser? Did she do that stuff? Like did she model that stuff for you already? Like when you met her, had she already where you get that closure, where you stand up for yourself and you choose yourself and you stop picking people that don't pick you?
So I will. I was his ex-husband, and oh my God.
Right? Yeah.
She was over jealous. She was insecure. If someone even mentioned
what, despite my own twins, like a little bit of crazy side, look at how like how kind, how nice and secure she really is in comparison to what I've been through.
Absolutely. And that's literally where it like popped in during the separation phase. I'm like, there's one thing that my twin never like gave up on me on, is that she loved me unconditionally, and she accepted me for who I was, and she always chose me in the end. Like I know she'd never cheat on me. So like when I hurt her, it literally like replayed everything. Like when I told her like I can't commit to you. I don't feel like I can marry a woman. I have no intention of marrying a woman. And I just put her through a dark night of the soul. Like I literally like pushed her so far away, and I can't say sorry to her enough, because like I will say this to my chaser twins: if you have experienced something like this, please understand that we constantly, if you're in separation right now, understand that this is replaying in our minds at this very moment. Please understand this. We are not living our best life possible. Like we struggle. We struggled hard. We struggled very hard to get where we are today. So please understand. Please be patient with your true twin. If you are experiencing a true twin, I'm saying this right now. If you're dealing with a false twin, you will know it. You will feel it. You will know something is off. But if you're dealing with a true twin connection, you will also feel that energetically, but it's a more loving energy. Because at first you can't recognize the connection, because you probably have dealt with a false twin, and you get confused. Because I got confused myself. I was a chaser twin before in a false twin connection.
Well, and then the real connections scare you more, because you feel like you got tricked before. How could it not?
Right now, please confirm in the comments below if you actually have heard your expiration date with your relationship has officially expired.
No, say that again. If they've heard, has your relationship expired? Is that what you said?
So basically in March of 2020, I heard that your relationship has officially reached its expiration date. Okay. So any of my runner twins, if you have experience hearing this in your head from your guide, please put this in the comments below, because this is what happened to me, and I just had to trust the process. And even though her and I were still living together because of COVID, we still managed to be civil, but at the same time that we weren't together. Like, we were actually like not dating at that point. Yeah. Now in her head, she actually thought that we were, but we actually were not.
Yeah.
So when she moved out in August,
be the mixed signals, the breadcrumbing. I call it sometimes Easter eggs too. Like you don't. I can tell part of it is that you want to express more, but you don't want to hurt us. You don't want to hurt yourselves, and you also like you don't want to get in trouble with any karmics you're interacting with, whether lovers or friends or whatever. But like, did you?
So that I couldn't have what I wanted because I was basically following my mother's dream, because, like I said, she was a narcissist. She was also very possessive.
In a karmic marriage, she was like, no, that's trouble. Just stay away from it completely. And it's still in his head. And even the karmic that he's with right now, she said,
I was like, I was never really connected to my family in a very close connection. I actually found my soul tribe was actually my real family. It was perfectly like when I manifested my first condo. I live in a condo now. I got myself out of Toronto. So with your true twin, for instance, it's very romantic. So it's always romantic and very platonic. So if you've heard that your twin flame is
you could speak to this, is that you do feel a certain sort of possessiveness. It's not quite the same as jealousy. Like you almost don't want to go after them because of the feeling, because you don't want to be that way with them, but you still feel it. Like that's my person. I'm their person. But like it's different. I don't even know how to quite put words to it, but when it's a false flame or it's a karmic and you're free from them, you feel relief. Like you don't feel like you don't feel that pain of the separation in the same way. Like you might recognize some of the breakup stuff, like
right. So synchronicity, right? And it also formed a triangle. So there was me, my car was in the second part, there was another car in front of me, and then there was another accident right behind me that formed a triangle.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So my near-death experience literally took me on a journey where he was supposed to be forgotten, but because I was tested like really badly, I noticed that I got my memory back when I went to Cuba, which was 2015, and I had to reach out to him. So after that ended, which was August 18th of 2018, imagine that, I said to myself, I watched Charm. Charm was actually a really good series.
Oh, I love that series, yeah.
And I related to Phoebe. My guys were like, please watch this. You need to know who you are.
Yeah.
So I was watching that with, and I noticed that my connection to Cole literally looked like my husband.
Right.
I was like, oh, you're good. And I heard my ex-husband's name in the series, Mitch. I'm like, oh, geez, like, serious?
Right.
And I was like, you just go away. Like, I told him, like, can you go away? Can you seriously go away? Like, why are you still here? It was in January. It was just literally hit New Year's. And I felt when I kissed my soulmate, it's hey, girls. Sorry, I got cats that are
no, it's okay.
Really like, hey, Mira, come here. Sorry about that. So basically, she said, and within 2 days later, I get a message from one of her close friends that actually are one of mine. I don't know what has come over me, but for some reason, the universe is literally like, okay, time to come back together, guys.
Right. Was that after you got the whole the relationship has expired thing?
Yes, this was way after. So that expired as of March of 2020, and January 2nd of 2021 is when I released the attachment of her, like, overthinking, like, how do I contact her? Like, I want to, but I'm afraid to. I don't know what to do.
Right.
And I had to help her out with that. So I energetically sent her love. I can send her energy hugs now, no problem. She feels it. When I see that, it's like, wow, this is like literally becoming normalized. And I just recently watched a video on on, what was it called? Eliza and Marcella, and this was a same-sex couple that, two females, that dated in 18, this was literally been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's Eliza and Marcella. It is a true story. These two women happen to be also twin flames. I felt that the term gay actually just means happy, right?
Yeah.
Have you noticed a lot of same-sex religions? Even though my twin flame and I are in union, and I plan to propose to her in about 2 years.
Nice.
So she needs to like understand why you read me the book that you read me.
Yeah.
Because I actually told her, like in my book, that twin flames are bad kind of thing, because I was dealing with a false twin, and that's why I labeled it the box labeled relationship, like how an obsessive state can be obsessive mind. Okay, so my guy told me to write this. I wrote that in January 22nd of 2017. Yeah, and I wrote that in there, and you can check out my book on my Facebook group page. It's called Divine Awakening.
Yeah,
it's
Divine Awakening. So that's the Facebook group.
Yeah. You just got to join me in my Facebook group there. It's called Divine Awakening.
And what's the name of the book?
Yeah, the book is called A Box Labeled Relationship.
Wait a minute. You said A Box Labeled Relationships?
Yeah, The Box Labeled Relationship, yeah.
Oh, okay. The Box Labeled Relationship.
That's
so fitting.
Yeah, what obsession can do to affect the mind, or something like this. Sounds like teenage years, right? We were actually 4 years. She's 4 years younger than me. She was born on August 25th of 1992, and I was born on April 17th, 1988, at 7:17 a.m. She was born at 6:45 a.m. And if you look on the numerology support, you actually will. It's that I'm the only. I only know another person that has a twin flame mentioned in their natal birth chart. Mine was actually related to both. Because I have to refer myself as male and female. Yeah. Because I wanted to look at different ones. So I represented myself as a male, and it still concerns twin flame connection. So I'm like, okay.
Well, it'd be masculine. The masculine energy. That's the funny thing. I love the folks that their minds will be blown like a man, like male presenting all the parts, and they will say they're a DF, and they're like, how is that possible? It's because masculine, feminine energy isn't attached to gender.
No. And the reason why is that both my twin and I are on the cusp, right? So Aries is masculine and Taurus is feminine. So I'm actually both. Yeah,
exactly.
But I have more feminine energy, I think. That's probably why that's why I'm more feminine. She's more masculine. Even though she acts feminine sometimes, but she is actually more masculine. So that's true. With it's definitely way different. It's Miss Aries, so it's I do have like the singing channel, and that's literally what helped me. Like my last song to my ex-husband was "Lose You to Love Me," and it just basically like hit hard. Like that was literally my last chapter to that, which is great. Yeah. And when I finally let go of my ex-fiance, that's when literally like everything just started to move forward so quickly, like boom, boom, boom. Right. I was just like, no more obstacles that is going to keep me away from my connection. Like I had to learn one more lesson. But the thing is, though, my roommate, he is truly supportive. He is amazing. Absolutely love him. In all honesty, like he is so sweet, and I know I'm gonna definitely lead him to his true twin as well, because like he's starting to understand like twin flame journey as well, because he doesn't really know much about it. But he's learning as the days progress, because I have literally been awake, I would say probably since like my entire life, but not really knowing it. Does that make sense? I knew since age 3 that I didn't belong here. Yeah. I knew when I was I was like, why am I having deja vu? Even though I've never physically been at this location, I know I've had past lives before, because like I resonate with the Salem witch trials, and every time I watch that, I get emotional, and I can't understand why. And I used to be afraid of fire, and now I'm not afraid of it anymore. Because like I had a vision where I was being burned at stake, like, and it terrified me, it traumatized me, even, and couldn't understand it. And then I actually came into my soul tribe in 2017 again in a twin flame community. That's literally where my soul tribe was hiding. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden, my past life sister, Karina. And my name is Trina. Not crazy.
That's funny.
So there's Katja, there's Karina, and then there's me. And I was the baby of the group and of our past life family. And Karina was like, I recognize you. I'm like, why do I feel like you were on mistake with me in Salem witch trials? And my mind just blew. I was
right. Account, ironically, except for the one that we got to get, well, they were independent ones, but at a bank that we got together, which has union in the name of it, and that's the only one that is still good. And I'm like, how many signs do you need? But yeah, the money is gone, and I'm waiting. Like, I know he's already said that he's seen it several times. In fact, there's a good question. I know he's said several times, like, he's recognized that it's just about money and materialism and that he just needs to let it run dry, but then he'll run back into it. Did you have that experience with any of the karmics or the false flames to where you're like, I know this is horrible, but I'm going to go back to it anyways?
Yep. Merry-go-round for 10 years with a karmic partner, and merry-go-round
union. Like, I noticed he held on to almost every little thing that was in there that was from exes, and I'm like going like, you don't even recognize the significance energetically. Like, I'm not opposed to holding on to a few things, but you need to release those relationships. You're holding on to them, and that's preventing us from moving forward in union. And what's funny is there was a point in time where I was really hurt, and I had a hair up my butt, and I was like, you know what? You want us to be separate? Fine. Then here, you want me to feel like you're in a happy relationship and you don't want anything to do with me? Then give me back all the stuff I've ever given you, which is a lot of stuff, to be honest. It's a lot, but it's like, if you really, really want to explore this new relationship you're in, you can't do it while holding on to all. I mean, there's stuff that I've given him he still sleeps with. And I'm like going, you can't, for one thing, you're still holding on to my energy. And for two, you can't have a relationship where you have especially not your twin flames energy and all this stuff. Like, you need to separate from it. I mean, that's like, anytime that I've ended a relationship with someone that I now know is karmic, part of why I was able to do it was because I released all of the stuff that I had. And I actually tried that even with my runner twin. Like, I gave him back everything that I'd been holding on to, minus like one or two things, and it's still just as strong. That's when I realized I even released a lot of the 5D ties, a lot of the 3D ties, because I'm going, if this is what I think it is, it's twin flame, none of this stuff is going to take it away. It's always going to be there.
Yes, exactly. And to also add to that with a twin flame connection, no matter what you do, if it's your true twin, you can never forget about them. They will always be in the back of your they are not toxic towards you. They don't belittle you. So please, please, please don't confuse the false twin with the true twin, because that's not accurate.
You know, there's a good question on that, because I mean, we're still human and relationships happen. I mean, did you ever have moments that you were like, let's say that you were upset about something that a karmic or a soulmate was doing, but you got into a fight with your twin, and like that could be perceived as belittling, but there's what would you say is the difference between like somebody who's genuinely belittling you versus like your runner twin flame is in chaos and they're just taking it out on you in this moment?
Okay, so the difference between that. So your twin says it in a compassionate way, even though you can't see it at first. Like, you're just like, okay, like you're all of a sudden like, oh, there she is. I'm like, okay, well that's different. So I'm like, I never had this before. Like, I'm usually a chaser, so like.
I know I'm far more mature, but that throws him off because he feels like that because he's older, that should definitely make a difference. And because the people in his friends group that are his age all act a certain way, even if they're all being completely toxic, it's like, well, she just must be naive. And it's like, but I just mean to say that there are definitely.
Well, she okay with that, because she's just like, if we're not romantically involved, then I don't want any part of this. And I said, oh my gosh, you're actually choosing yourself. Or what? Thank God.
Right.
Thank you. Good
Right.
job.
Yeah, I was
Good
gonna
job.
say that's got to be an interesting moment. I know a lot of chasers
Yeah.
probably wonder about that. Is like if we start because we don't want to lose the connection, and it's like we know we need to choose ourselves.
Yeah.
We know we need to have healthy boundaries. We know we need to put our foot down.
Yeah.
But then there will be that
Yeah.
moment to where you do it, and then it's like utter silence, and you're going like, I thought this was what we needed, and why is there silence? And then but then you
Yeah.
realize like they come through and it's like, no, that's exactly what I needed from you. I needed you to tell me the truth about myself, choose you, and not take any
Yeah.
more of my shit. Is that kind of what happened with you? Like,
Absolutely, yes, because like I said to her, I'm like, this is why that you, because she was very codependent on me at first.
Yeah.
She was very highly attached, was very clingy, and I will say this from a runner twin perspective: please do not cling on to us. Do not attach to us completely. It will drive us away so fast.
Yeah.
I apologize. It happened to me too.
Yep.
Okay. We get scared. We get scared and we run. We run. We run through the hills.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, let's get into a bad relationship. Like, no, I don't want to do this again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Now, no, it's okay. We do have we had that question that came in from Autumn. It was, and it's interesting because I know before when we
answer Autumn's question, yes, absolutely, let go, surrender. I know it's scary, but again, you're hearing it from the runner twin perspective. That's literally what we want you to do. Don't think you'll ever lose us because that's not true.
In her, I was going to say in her question, that's an interesting thing. So when your twin finally released you, because I know I had this fear with my twin too, because he was in dark space because of his karmics, that I was afraid that if I released,
was very scared of letting go. And she's just like, if I completely let her go, she's going to move on without me, kind of thing. And I explained to her, like, because, okay, so the universe actually did give her a heads up that I would actually leave her, like, saw my ex-girlfriend and then familiar guy, and she couldn't like recognize him. She's like, I saw a guy and he was taking me away from you.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was my roommate that I have now.
Yeah.
But she didn't understand this. This was in July of 2019. I reassured her that no matter what happens with our connection, like we're always finding way back to each other. And I've never said that. She was literally like listening to a lot of songs that I actually heard in my head when she actually like sent me songs. Like she played like, whoa, deja vu, whoa, deja vu, whoa, deja vu. And she's like, what are you talking about? I heard these songs when you were playing them at that time. Like I just had random songs coming through my head, and I'm like, whoa, this is weird. Like with your true twin, you have a telepathic connection with them, whether you realize this or not. Like we hear everything.
Yeah.
Okay, from a perspective, don't think that we don't hear you.
Oh. Yeah.
We do.
Oh yeah. Well, some of my favorites are will be vice versa. Like when we were first in separation, even just like it wasn't so much me testing the connection. Like I knew that it was there, but I wasn't sure if he'd confirm it. And there were so many times like I'd walk into a store and hear a certain song, and then I'd text and be like, "Wow, I just heard this song," and he'd be like, "Whoa, I was either that was in my head today, or I just heard that song a few minutes ago, or you know what I mean." And music is definitely, it seems to be a love language that twins share in a significant way, because I've seen a fair amount of karmics try to manufacture it, and it's funny, it's just different. And like now like I've had songs that have been coming into my head that I know that he's listened to. I mean, I've tested the connection enough to know that it's definitely shared between us. But like now that I won't say that I'm in runner energy per se, but I'm not pursuing the connection. I hear more and more songs. Either they'll come on the radio or come in my head. I'll wake up with them, and they're specifically songs that I know that he would be listening to right now, or that would come on for him. And it's like, all right, yep. And it does go both ways. I know a lot of chasers that will hear it, but they don't recognize karmics and false flames. I actually talk with a lot of people about, in fact, don't run, like don't become one of those people that you never get into any sort of connection because it might be a false flame or it might be a karmic, because you might need to learn things in that, and that will help prepare you to get into your actual twin flame connection. But like
literally, I came across this post actually in 2017. It said, stop looking for your soulmate, find your soulmate. And I'm like, boom, not fully married to this person.
Yeah.
So,
well,
don't say that if they marry someone else that you have lost them forever, because that is far from the truth.
Yeah.
If the universe wants
Well, and even if that happens too, though, a lot of the I mean, because we always reflect each other. If there's something that they needed to learn through that marriage or that connection, there's also something that you needed to learn. And often it's with the chasers, it's funny. It's something that spirits brought to me a lot is being open to all outcomes, but also recognizing that just because your twin is learning lessons with somebody else, that doesn't detract from either your identity or your self-worth. Like you have to become, and when you're genuinely comfortable, like dating yourself and you're good with yourself and you really are, you love yourself no matter. And he was like, I mean, he was losing himself because he got in with the karmic and stuff. But it was like, look, just find yourself, and that has been the challenge for me as the chaser is practicing what I preach. Is like I just need to find myself and have faith in spirit and just be loving of myself.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. And that's exactly what you have to do first and foremost for my chaser twins. That you need to literally like be happy and live your whole authentic life. Do not wait on us, okay? Not wait.
Well, that waiting energy, it's just it's like with anything with manifestation. If you miss them, if you're waiting for them, you're holding them out of place.
Yeah. Like you'll have faith in your heart no matter what, but at the same time, you'll like don't keep continuing to say stuff because then we actually always think you're a psychopath.
Yeah, and that you know what? That's a good thing to speak to. Was there a point in time where you thought that your twin was just like utterly obsessed with you and crazy? Because we do get a lot of us get that on the other end, and it's like, how can you think that? You know, like.
I was just like, babe, just give me room to breathe, please. I'm like, this is nuts. Like, I can't deal with this. I really can't. Like, you're over jealousy, you're over insecurity, like, your abandonment is like, please, just give me space. Okay, that's all I ask. And I had to like do it vocally, and I just can't take it anymore. I'm just like, okay, I cannot deal with this anymore. Like, we're constantly like just these little minor things, like if someone likes my profile or like something like my
It took a while for me to be able to slowly, little by little, get to that place where I wasn't chasing and I wasn't pursuing. But it was funny because, like, up to that point, it was very much like, like I need space, give me space, and then he would come back in and be like, "Okay, space done," and I'm like, "That's all the what?" And then he'd go. And then in the minute that I'm like, "Oh, good," then he'd run out again, and it's like, what is with this in and out? like I'm doing what you want, and I'm choosing me, and then you're back, and then you're gone, and then you're back, and then you're gone. Did you guys go through that dynamic? I know a lot of people do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it was only like a couple times because like we broke up for like a day, and then I was like, oh, I can't do this. Like this is hard. Like even one day, I'm just like, this is not me. What is going
I'm very aware in practice of the 5D stuff, and I already know that the confirmation of it, but that's very much how I felt. And it's funny because, like, I mean, I knew we had to go through another moment, even it was where I finally just pulled away and said, okay, well, then let's cut all this shit. Because I already knew none of the 3D strings would make a difference. And I like in my mind, I know that he's sitting there in the quiet now going, well, she's not talking to me. So why am I still thinking about her all this time? And I'm waiting for him to recognize that voice of me in his head really is me sitting there going, yeah, nice try. You go ahead and convince yourself that it's not real. And like, you know, you love me. Like you still got pictures of me on your damn phone. You know what you're doing.
like, absolutely. And like,
that's so funny.
She's very, very Catholic cocky like that. She's like, you love me. Like it's just a matter of time before you say, babe, I want you back.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like,
I know, right? Oh yeah, well, my twin for a while, like it was funny. It was almost right out of the gate of.
So people got out with my chaser twin, I should say. Or just, I'm just gonna call my twin.
Yeah, just twin. Yeah. Very happy. Well, we go back and forth too. There were moments we go back and forth. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, so to clarify that as well,
do a later video about that. I think as when you've been primarily in chaser energy, and like there's a lot of us even that have been in it for like up to decades, and I think you start to notice a difference, because you can be in a toxic dynamic with a a false twin, and you feel like, oh, I need to stay loyal to them, but it really is the test of time. Really is like, like, I mean, I've looked into dating. I found all sorts of people that even would have very similar characteristics to my twin, and I just don't feel attracted to them. I've had all sorts of, I mean, I've had people even chasing me, and it's just not there. But then you kind of hit this moment to where it's like, for one thing, that's an obvious sign you're meant to date yourself some more. And two, I think that there's a big difference between you're toxically being codependent on somebody you're not meant to be with, versus you just genuinely recognizing that's your home. Like that's where you feel comfortable.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, when I was actually with my soulmate, or I should say actually my ex-fiance as well, but like, he's more my bestie. Like, he's always going to remain like really. He actually accepts my connection, because like I showed him a little bit how twin flame works, and he's like, I would never interfere with that. Like, he was very happy that he actually let me back to my twin. So it's amazing. Like, I really thank him for that.
Yeah.
I also thank my soul sister as well, because she's also a lesbian, and like she's very open about it.
Yeah.
But every time I talk to her, it's like she literally like gave me an epiphany. Like, wow, like I'm like really interested in like getting to know that side more. And then just this year, like Facebook like confirmed like you are not going to be straight, and I'm like, no, I never was straight. I never was. Like, I actually can say that, and I told my bestie, even though she doesn't really agree with me, but she's still supportive. Like, I absolutely love her. You know what I mean? Like, there's soul tribe that's really going to be there for you no matter what. And I have a few of them. And like, she accepts me for me, and I love that about her. Like, I've had a lot of people leave my life because
of journey to go. And like, for me, it's like when I look back at the time and the space and the things that have gone on, it's like, it's more a test of time. You're not ever really gonna know, is this my twin, until you've had a story to tell about it, and you can really see the ups and downs. You remove them from the pedestal. You've had ups and downs. You've been through multiple other connections and stuff, and then you can really see, because like, that's how you do it. You choose yourself. And when you're choosing yourself and you're not running or chasing, you what?
I'm gonna tell you about Geminis, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Geminis, we're crazy, okay? We're crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But,
yeah, with Gemini energy, you always get a little bit of crazy.
Well, I'll tell you something, okay? So when I was about 5, I was told that astrology signs have a lot to do with compatibility, and I was skeptical, so I dated every single sign of the zodiac, and I'm like, okay, let's see if it matches, and chances are it does. It really does work, because like, I've been studying astrology since I was 5, and at first I resonated as an Aries.
But it's like, it's funny. There's been so many astrology. We should do another video and just talk about astrology stuff with the compatibility.
And to all of you out there, thank you so much for your questions and your answers, and thank you so much, also Divine. Wickedly Divine Feminine. It's the runner's perspective, because we got a bad rep. Okay?
Right.
We're gonna be out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We're not. Okay. From the other side, I hope this has clarified some different perspective, and I hope this has resonated with a lot of my chaser twins out there. Just hold the faith, hold the faith. And if we are your true twin, like I said, we will eventually come back on your path. But first, you have to be able to accept yourself, love yourself whole and authentically, date yourself, just be the whole authentic version of you, and love yourself unconditionally. And thanks so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you guys momentarily. We'll definitely keep in touch for sure.
All right. Awesome. Cool. We'll connect again later. All right. Bye.
Absolutely. All right. You have yourself a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Well, that was amazing. I'm going to go ahead and check off here, because I wasn't kidding. I really have to use the bathroom. Thank you so much for everybody who checked in. I know most of you are going to watch this later when it's processed, because of the weird signal problems. And we'll do more of these. So if it's not perfect, that's okay. Because remember, we're in the energy of Don't take things so seriously. All right, everybody. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for your likes, shares, and subscribes. And make sure that you check out Miss Aries' books and